William Hawthorne sat in his sleek black sedan, the city lights glimmering on the windshield as he thought about the meeting waiting for him. Every evening felt the same: long hours at the office, endless phone calls, and a calendar filled with boardroom clashes. He wore his success like a second skin-tailored suits, expensive ties, and a reputation that reached far beyond his name. Yet behind the polished surface of his life, another world existed, a quiet house on the edge of town, and a little girl whose smiles he had begun to miss, inside the spacious living room of the Hawthorne estate. Lily pressed her hands against the soft fabric of her wheelchair's armrests. Once, she had run through sunlit fields, her laughter echoing across green lawns. Now, after the accident that had changed everything, her world had grown smaller. Pain and fear sometimes wrapped around her like a cloak, and shadows of sadness lingered in her bright eyes. She spent her days reading fairy tales, tracing the words on the page with trembling fingers, and staring out at the garden she could no longer walk through. Lily's room was painted in soft pastels, with family photos, lined up on a white shelf. In each picture, her father's broad smile beamed alongside Lily's joyful grin. But those photos were frozen memories. William's presence in those frames felt distant, like someone who belonged to another life. He had once promised to be there for every milestone: first steps, first day of school, first dance recital. Instead, boardroom battles and business travel pulled him away, leaving Lily to face her new reality mostly alone. On mornings when the sun peeked through her window, Lily watched the driveway for any sign of a familiar car. She hoped to hear the engine that meant her father had come home, but most days, the only sound was the soft hum of the house and the distant chirping of birds outside. Her mother worked as a nurse on night shifts, and her father's work took him even further. So when the front door clicked open with a gentle knock, her heart fluttered until the driver's voice spoke her name. Marco, the family's driver for more than 10 years, stepped inside with a warm grin. He carried a small stack of Lily's favorite books and a radio playing soft music. Marco moved carefully, never rushing. He helped Lily adjust her cushions and sat beside her wheelchair, reading aloud from tales of brave heroes and magical lands. In those moments, Lily felt hope flicker again. With Marco's kindness, she could forget her sadness, even if just for a little while. But as Marco turned the pages and Lily listened, neither of them noticed the empty hallway where William's shadow should have stood. The house held its breath, waiting for a father who no longer knew the sound of his daughter's laughter. And in that stillness, Lily learned to smile again for Marco's gentle encouragement. Encouragement, though her father remained, locked behind the doors of boardrooms and deadlines. This was Lily's world behind closed doors, quiet, tender, and filled with the soft promise of friendship that Marco offered. Yet it was also a world of quiet longing for a father who had built an empire, but had yet to build a bridge back to his daughter's heart. Every morning at exactly 8 o'clock, Marcos's car pulled into the Hawthorne driveway. He stepped out with a gentle smile, carrying the small surprises he had collected for Lily. Sometimes it was a colorful sketchbook. Other times it was a new song recorded on an old-fashioned tape. Marco knew that these little treasures brought light into Lily's quiet world. Lily watched him roll into the living room, her face brightening. She reached out and touched the smooth leather of her wheelchair's armrest, a silent signal that she was ready for their time together. Marco knelt beside her, making sure his eyes were at her level. He never spoke down to her, never treated her like a patient or a project. Instead, he treated her like a dear friend. In those moments, the years between them melted away. Lily, though young, had a wise heart that understood kindness. Marco, though grown, had kept the wonder of childhood alive in his spirit. He taught her simple dance steps, guiding her arms in slow circles to the rhythm of a soft melody. With each movement, Lily felt the music flow through her, as if her body remembered what it was like to dance free. They did more than dance. Marco brought puzzles and games that adapted to Lily's needs. He showed her how to paint with watercolors, tilting the paper so the paint pooled into beautiful shapes. He read from her favorite adventure books, using different voices for each character. Lily laughed at his silly impersonations and gasped at the hero's victories. Marco reveled in her joy, his own heart lifting every time she smiled. The bond they shared grew stronger each day. Lily confided in Marco about her fears, the ache in her leg, the sadness she woke with, the painful memories of the accident. Marco listened with compassion. He placed his hand gently on her shoulder and told her how brave she was. Aid reminded her that healing did not follow a straight path, and that hope was a companion she could carry with her. Sometimes, when the sun warmed the garden beyond the window, Marco wheeled Lily outside. They sat on a bench beneath the old oak tree, where Marco pointed out the flowers and the birds. He let her press her hand against the rough bark, telling her how strong trees were, like people rooted and reaching for light, even after storms. Lily closed her eyes and felt the warm breeze, as if it carried hope to every part of her body in the evenings. When the house grew quiet, Lily would thank Marco in a soft voice. "You make my heart feel alive again," she said. Marco's eyes would shine with unshed tears, and he would answer, "You make my life brighter, Lily." Those words were their secret promise, that they would walk this path together, side by side, no matter what challenges lay ahead, unseen and unheard by them. Footsteps paused at the doorway. William Hawthorne, returning home earlier than expected, froze as he watched this quiet scene. He had never realized how much his daughter relied on Marco's gentle care, or how deeply they cared for each other. In that instant, William felt a pang he could not ignore. The bond between Marco and Lily was a love he had never taught her, a comfort he had never given. And he knew without a doubt that his world was missing something vital. William Hawthorne stepped out of his sleek black sedan into the quiet driveway as the late afternoon sun painted long shadows across the lawn. He had landed back home earlier than planned. His flight was on time, and a sudden change in schedules freed him from another evening of boardroom battles. Carrying a leather briefcase, he walked up the marble steps, thinking only of the papers waiting on his desk. He was tired but pleased. For once, he might rest before tomorrow's conference call. As he unlocked the front door, William noticed silence where he expected the hum of a television or a distant piano. The house felt unusually still. He slid off his jacket and placed it on the coat rack, the soft click echoing in the hall. Called out, "Lily, I'm home." His voice sounded foreign in the empty house. No answer came. He frowned, puzzled. Usually there was the patter of feet or the soft beat of music to welcome him. He followed the faint sound of laughter to the living room. There, sunlight from the tall windows formed golden patches on the polished floor. In one patch, Lily rocked gently in her wheelchair, her hair catching the light. Behind her stood Marco, softly guiding her arms in a slow dance. The melody from a small radio filled the room with warmth and grace. Lily giggled as she leaned slightly forward. Marco's calm encouragement showed in every gentle smile he gave her. William froze, his heart squeezed at the sight. He had never seen his daughter so alive, so full of joy and trust. Marco's steady hands on Lily's shoulders, the careful rhythm of their steps, they created a scene of love that William had only read about in his own hasty dreams. He felt a sudden pang of guilt. For years he had built towers of success, but had failed to build moments like this with his daughter. Now, watching from the doorway, he realized what he had missed. He stood quietly, afraid to break the spell. Each breath tasted of regret and longing. Lily spun slowly, her laughter like wind chimes in William's memory. In that moment he saw the distance he had placed between them, distance measured in missed birthdays, skipped recitals, and silent nights when she needed him most. Marco, ever attentive, guided Lily through each step without a single hint of impatience. William felt both grateful and ashamed that someone else loved his daughter so completely. When the song ended, Marco lowered the volume and gently said, "Your father's here, Lily." Lily turned and saw William standing behind them. Her smile widened, and for a heartbeat, William felt the weight of his empire lift. He took a hesitant step forward, his briefcase forgotten on the floor. Marco gave William an understanding nod before stepping back, giving them space. Lily reached out a trembling hand toward her father. William knelt beside her chair, his eyes glistening. He realized then that this unexpected return was the start of a new journey, one where he would learn to dance with his daughter, led by love rather than ambition. William's heart pounded as he knelt beside Lily's wheelchair. The briefcase lay forgotten on the polished floor. Sunlight streamed through the high windows, illuminating dust motes that danced like tiny spirits in the air. Marco stepped back, his gentle smile encouraging William to join. William swallowed, steadied himself, and placed his hands lightly on Lily's shoulders. Mirroring Marco's earlier posture, a soft tune played from the radio, an old melody of hope and renewal. Lily's eyes shone with excitement as she felt her father's steady hands. William inhaled the sweet scent of the room-polished wood, fresh flowers on the mantel, and Lily's shampoo from her hair. In that moment he realized how much he had missed, the small details that made his home feel like a true haven. At first, William's movements were tentative. He guided Lily's arms in gentle circles, following the rhythm that Marco had practiced. Lily giggled as her arms rose and fell, and William's chest warmed with a mixture of pride and surprise. He remembered teaching her to dance when she was little, twirling her in the living room until her laughter filled the house. Those memories had slipped away under the weight of business deals and late nights. Now, as he moved with Lily's, Gracie vowed silently never to let them fade again. With every turn, the distance between father and daughter melted. William felt Lily's trust like a soft blanket around his heart. Her smile opened something inside him he had long ignored, the simple joy of being present. He closed his eyes for a moment, letting the music guide him. When he opened them, he saw Lily leaning forward, her hair brushing his cheek. In her eyes he recognized a longing for connection that only he could fulfill. Marco watched from the side, emotion shining in his gaze. He had always known William cared deeply for his daughter, even if he had shown it poorly. Marco whispered encouragements, reminding William of each step, until William no longer needed the words. The three of them formed a circle of care and warmth, a family united beyond titles or wealth. As the song reached its gentle finale, Lily and William ended the dance with a soft embrace. William's arms trembled as he held her close. Lily rested, her head on his shoulder, and whispered, "I missed you, Papa." William's throat tightened. He brushed a tear from her cheek and pressed his forehead against hers. "I missed you too, sweetheart," he replied. His voice broke with emotion. They sat together in silence for a moment, the music's last note fading away. William looked around the living room and saw more than furniture and expensive art. He saw memories waiting to be made. He reached for Lily's hand and gently squeezed it. "Let's dance like this every day," he promised, his voice steady with resolve. Lily smiled, her heart full. William stood and wheeled her toward the large window overlooking the garden. They paused there, side by side, watching the late afternoon sun paint the sky in warm colors. In that peaceful space, William realized that life's greatest successes were not measured in profits or press releases, but in moments like this, moments of shared laughter, trust, and love. After the gentle dance, William guided Lily back to the center of the living room and settled into a nearby armchair. He watched her face glow with happiness, but beneath that light, he felt a deep ache. Memories of the accident flashed before him, how he had rushed off to a critical meeting and left her in the hospital waiting room. He had thought business could never wait. Now he saw how much he had lost in those moments. Lily reached out to touch her father's hand. William looked down at their joined fingers and felt the weight of every promise he had broken. He remembered the first night she spent in the wheelchair, how she sobbed quietly when he walked out of the hospital corridor. He had been too busy, too consumed by deals and deadlines. The memory pressed on his heart like a heavy stone. Outside, the garden's flowers swayed in the breeze, their colors bright against the green. William closed his eyes and imagined those blooms as days he had missed, birthdays, school recitals, bedtime stories. Each petal represented a moment he could never retrieve. He opened his eyes to find Lily watching him with concern. Guilt tightened his throat and he swallowed hard, forcing a reassuring smile. "Papa, are you okay?" Lily asked, her voice soft and careful. William's chest tightened as he thought of all the times he had missed seeing that worry in her eyes. He leaned forward, brushing a strand of hair from her forehead. "I'm sorry, my love," he whispered. "I'm sorry I wasn't here when you needed me most." Lily's eyes brimmed with tears, but she squeezed his hand. "You're here now," she said, "and that matters more than anything." Her forgiveness bloomed like sunlight in his heart. William let the tears fall, each one a release of shame and a step toward healing. He realized that his wealth and power meant nothing if he could not protect and cherish his daughter. He stood and wheeled Lily toward the window, where the sky painted itself in soft pastels of dusk. "I promise," he said firmly, "that from now on, I will be here for you. No more missed moments, no more broken promises." Lily leaned her head against his shoulder and nodded, trusting him completely. In that shared silence, William's regret transformed into resolve. He would rearrange his life around Lily's needs, not the other way around. He would close his laptop more often, attend her therapy sessions, and learn to find joy in small things: a laugh, a dance, a quiet evening at home. He would be the father she deserved. Marco re-entered the room quietly, carrying 2 mugs of warm milk. He placed one beside Lily and one in William's hand. William offered Marco a grateful nod. In their soft exchange, William felt profound gratitude for Marco's unwavering care. He knew that moving forward, he would lean on this bond to become the father Lily needed. As the first stars appeared in the sky, William and Lily sat together by the window, sipping their milk. William's heart was heavy with regret, but it also brimmed with hope. For the first time in a long time, he believed that love's simple, steadfast love could guide him back to what truly mattered. The next morning, sunlight filtered through sheer curtains, casting soft patterns on the carpet. William woke early, feeling a calm he had not known in years. He dressed in simple clothes, jeans, and a soft shirt so he could spend the day with Lily, without thinking of meetings or deadlines. In the living room, Lily waited in her wheelchair, holding a small card. Her face lit up when William entered. "Good morning, Papa," she said, offering him the card. Inside, she had drawn a picture of the 3 of them: William, Lily, and Marco, holding hands under a rainbow. William's throat tightened at her sweetness. He knelt beside her and hugged her gently. The warmth of her smile filled him with purpose. "This rainbow needs plenty of color," he said softly. "Let's add every color we can." Lily giggled, and William felt a surge of hope. He rolled her chair toward the window where the garden called to them. Outside, Marco waited. Beside a wooden bench, he held a planter box filled with bright flowers and herbs: marigolds, lavender, basil. "I thought we could plant together," he said, handing William a small trowel. William nodded, grateful for Marco's thoughtful idea. He placed Lily's wheelchair beside the bench so she could join. Together they filled the planter with soil. William showed Lily how to pat it down gently, and she pressed her fingers into the earth. Marco knelt beside her, guiding her hand as they planted the seeds. Each small bulb nestled into the ground felt like a promise: new life, new memories, and new joy. As the sun climbed higher, William and Lily took turns watering the plants. Lily's laughter rang out when a droplet splashed her hand. William smiled freely for the first time in years. He realized life was not only about grand gestures, but also about these simple moments: planting seeds, sharing laughter, and feeling the earth between their fingers. After they finished, they brought the planter inside and set it on the windowsill. "Every day, we'll watch these grow," William promised. Lily nodded, her eyes bright. "Just like us," she whispered. William felt tears of happiness and hope gather in his eyes. He squeezed Lily's hand and said, "Yes, my love, just like us." They spent the afternoon reading together and planning more activities. Marco suggested music therapy sessions, and William agreed to join every week. Lily beamed at the thought of dancing to new songs. William imagined guiding her through each step, building their bond stronger with every note. As evening approached, the 3 sat around the dining table for dinner, a simple meal of soup and bread. William raised his glass of juice. "To new beginnings," he said. Lily and Marco echoed him, their smiles warm and true. William felt gratitude float through him like a gentle tide. Before bedtime, William helped Lily into her wheelchair and wheeled her back to her room. He kissed her forehead and tucked the blanket around her. "Thank you for today," he whispered. Lily hugged him. "Thank you for being here." In her arms, William felt at home where he had always wanted to be. That night, William lay awake, thinking of the seeds they had planted both in the garden and in their hearts. He knew challenges lay ahead, but for the first time, he believed they would face them together. In the quiet of the night, love's new beginning took root, promising a future filled with shared steps, laughter, and unbreakable bonds. The morning sun peeked through the curtains as William and Lily shared a quiet breakfast at the kitchen table. William poured fresh orange juice into 2 glasses, and Lily's bright eyes followed every movement. He smiled, noticing how present. He felt no ringing phones or urgent emails to pull him away. Marco joined them with warm muffins he had just baked, the sweet smell filling the room. It was a simple meal, but for the first time in a long while, William felt truly content. After breakfast, William wheeled Lily into the living room where a surprise waited. On the coffee table lay an envelope addressed to Lily in her father's careful handwriting. Lily opened it with trembling fingers. Inside was a ticket for a music therapy concertant event William had arranged for her. And Marco, he had promised to be there, and now he held 2 seats. Lily's face lit up as she read the words, "For my brightest star love, Papa." She threw her arms around William's neck. He hugged her tightly, feeling her heart beat against his chest. Later that day, they prepared to leave for the concert. William helped Lily into her wheelchair and attached a small speaker to play her favorite tunes. Marco loaded the car with a gentle care that felt natural now, like part of their new routine. As they drove through the sunlit streets, William glanced in the rearview mirror at Lily's joyful grin. He realized that these shared journeys, big or small, were the real treasures of his life. At the concert hall, soft lights glowed and the air buzzed with hopeful energy. Musicians on stage tuned their instruments, and Lily's eyes sparkled at the sight. William and Marco sat on either side of her, offering support. When the first notes of a gentle violin filled the room, Lily closed her eyes and swayed in her chair. William placed his hand on hers, and together they felt the music wrap around them like a warm blanket. Tears of happiness rolled down William's cheeks as he watched Lily smile, the melody guiding her spirit. After the concert, they strolled through a nearby park. Flowers bloomed along the path, and sunlight danced on the pond's surface. Pointed out a swan gliding across the water, and Lily laughed at its graceful glide. William paused, breathing in the fresh air, and looked at his daughter's luminous face. He saw strength in her eyes and hope in her smile. He realized that life's purpose was not in boardroom victories, but in these tender moments that built their bond. When they returned home, William tucked Lily into her favorite armchair by the window. He brought out a small scrapbook he had, started filled with photos of today's concert, the garden they planted, and the living room dance. Each page held notes of memories and promises for the future. Lily turned the pages slowly, her fingers tracing the pictures. William sat beside her, reading aloud the captions he had written, each one a pledge of his love and presence. As dusk settled, William kissed Lily goodnight. He thanked Marco for his unwavering friendship and care. In the soft glow of the lamp, the 3 shared a moment of quiet joy. William thought of the road ahead therapy sessions, more dances, and days filled with laughter. He felt ready for every step, knowing he would never again miss what truly mattered. That night, William lay in bed with a peaceful heart. His empire of work still stood strong, but now it was balanced by a richer world of family and love. The gentle hush of the house, he whispered a promise to himself with every sunrise. We will write a new chapter together. And with that vow, love's new beginning bloomed, bright and enduring in their shared tomorrow.